Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, has the media found its teeth again? Ray Hagar has the rundown.
Thanks, Sam. Today's guest is Dr. Ardyth Sohn. She's the director of the School of Journalism at UNLV. And why do we need more journalists when all these newspapers in Nevada and across the nation are shutting down?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Cobb, Alfredo, Alonso, and Marlene Lockard. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Ray Hagar with the Reno Gazette-Journal, and joining me in Las Vegas is our show's host, Sam Shad, and our guest today, Ardyth Sohn, the director of the UNLV School of Journalism. Welcome to you both.
Thanks a lot, Ray. Let's start out right away, Ardyth. Judith Miller of the New York Times just released after 85 days in jail for a story she didn't write. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with Judith. We need a national shield law, and we've needed it for a long time. I remember when I was a reporter myself, I used to ask my editor before I went out on a story that I thought might be controversial, are you willing to go to jail with me? I listened very carefully to that answer because it's important for journalists to have a chance to talk with people and to reassure them that the information is important and to check out the sources, of course. But I think she reminds all of us of the chilling effect sometimes government forces or corporate forces can have on access to the news.
You know, it's frightening to me that she was put in jail for a story she didn't write, for a conversation she had for a story she didn't write, and two countries, up until the time Judith was released, have journalists in prison, China and the United States. And that just scares me.
Well, and journalists around the world being killed. I spent time in Kiev on a Fulbright scholarship in 2004 and was reminded again of the importance of the First Amendment and the fact that we're the only country that has such an amendment guarding freedom of information, and journalists there willing to put their lives on the line. And I was amazed at 20-year-olds And I'd say to them, why are you doing this? It's our country. It's important. And, of course, they were largely responsible for the Orange Revolution in fall of 2004. So I think it's good for all of us to have a wake-up check on the importance for democracy and the importance of freedom of expression and access to information for the public.
I hope our Congress people are listening.
I do too.
May I ask you something, Ardyth?
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble. Pardon?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, Ardyth?
I can now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to have you on the show. As you know, the Las Vegas Sun has been rolled into the larger Las Vegas Review-Journal, so in essence, Nevada has lost another newspaper. Newspapers, especially afternoon papers, are closing throughout the country. So why is it important to have a journalism school at UNLV produce more journalists when the market keeps shrinking and shrinking?
Well, I think you're thinking of it in a rather narrow way. Journalism schools, the best thing we can do for the field is produce writers, whether they're going into advertising, public relations, public information work, newspapers, broadcast, or internet work. And that's the main job, is to instill in students, whether they go into journalism or not, and many of them go on to law school and other careers, but we feel a civic responsibility to inform people and to get to them at that age, and also to teach them to write. And I don't think newspapers are shrinking. I think the JOA operation in Las Vegas is a very exciting event, and I think it's the kind of thing that that we ought to celebrate, not feel bad about. It creates a unique model. And many of our students, I'm happy to be on the show today to tell you about some of the things that are going on at UNLV. We're in the midst of building a new facility, the Greenspun Hall, which will be done in 2008, and we'll have a convergence lab for emerging media in that building. So we'll be teaching students to tell stories across 3-4 platforms so that when they graduate, they'll be prepared and understand various ways of dissemination and how to tell stories throughout different media.
Okay. One thing, we often have a debate on this show about is the media liberal or not. My own experience in it in 30 years is that the media is not very liberal, but a lot of my colleagues on Nevada Newsmakers, the conservative ones,
including this one.
Yeah, I know, like everybody else except me, think it is. What do you think the media in general is more liberal than they are conservative?
The studies that have been done, and these have been done over several years, so I think the data are fairly reliable, show that generally owners of media and top media managers tend to be more conservative than the people writing the stories. So there's a balance between the people gathering the news and the people overseeing the news. So I am not at all concerned about that balance. I think it's working appropriately. I think on radio we may have actually more conservative voices right now than we have liberal voices.
And that's because they're not good entertainers. Ray, I think we need to take a break here. Let's come right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This satellite interview is sponsored by Scott Craigie and Alris Consulting.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
The materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. We're doing a two-section interview today from Reno and Las Vegas with Ardyth Sohn, the director of the Hank Greenspun School of Journalism at UNLV. And I would like to ask you one thing. How does Hank get a journalism school named after him? There's been so many great stories about him, just like one, they weren't sure about a story. He said, well, let's run the story and we can always run a correction tomorrow. So how does Hank rate getting the school named after him?
Well, I think Hank, I was speaking with Brian Greenspun on Friday, and I was telling him about all the calls I've been getting recently from Eastern schools, Georgetown and some others, wanting Hank's papers. And Brian laughed and said, what papers? His papers are his columns. And I think if you look at the columns, you'll see some very important issues being discussed. He was a very important figure during the McCarthy era, a very tough guy about that particular issue, and I think most of us in the field respect the work he did during that period, probably most of all the work he did.
Let me change subjects back to a more national issue, Ardyth. The broadcast media seems to finally have gotten its backbone back after Hurricane Katrina, because it seems since 9/11 that the media was just scared to challenge and question. Do you think we're now going to see a change in the way that the media deals with government?
Well, I think with Katrina, one of the things I noticed, and a lot of my friends in the media were laughing about themselves as well, at first there was a fear that the story wouldn't be as big. I mean, we always chase a big story. We're kind of ghoulish that way. And I think so that was the first concern. Will it be enough story to justify the kinds of people who were sent there and the kind of airtime and news space that was given to it? Then when journalists realized that they were there and the government officials were not there, it kind of switched in terms of their roles. So overall, I think the news media will come out of that event looking pretty good, because they were there reporting on things either from cell phone calls or through internet access that they had from the area much earlier than I think the government officials expected them to be, and I think they did a good job.
Well, let me follow up. Do you have concerns as the media is becoming more and more centralized with just few major companies that have lots of different business interests, that they are going to stop their newsrooms from reporting on big stories about government because they're scared about losing licenses or not getting licenses for the various other businesses that they want, or the ability to expand the number of television stations they can own?
Well, that's an interesting commentary, because a lot of our students, and 2004 was the best year of employment in terms of 4 or 5 years, and the starting salary was around $28,000. So that's all good news. But I think what we're teaching students today is to realize the differences. And as you say, broadcast media have to look at the FCC regulation, and that is totally political. Who is appointed to the FCC Oversight Board is very political, and that can shift, and I think people do have to be careful. The print media, on the other hand, and we're hoping that Internet will be considered print, has a lot more flexibility and does not have to buckle under to pressures like advertisers or government officials.
Ardyth,
go ahead.
Even for students that don't want to become a journalist, isn't it important to take some journalism classes so you know how to deal with the media throughout your life? Because if you're not going to be a journalist, maybe you're going to be a politician, maybe you're going to be a coach. In almost every aspect of life, people have to deal with the media.
Yes, and we're redoing our curricula. I don't know, let me tell you a little bit about UNLV's School of Journalism. Until 2004, we were not a standalone program, and then the Regents approved a split between communication and journalism. So we're instituting in 2006, which is the fastest we can get to that, because we now have a new degree, a journalism degree, a standalone degree. We're going to be introducing classes on campus where civic responsibility is the main issue there. Whether the students become journalism majors or not, that will be a time for them to learn about the media, become educated about the media, because the media is not just a business, it's part of our Constitution.
Let me ask you a question that came up during the last legislative session. State Senator Barbara Sagaski was hired by KVBC to give them advice on legislative ideas, and they were attacked for this. Shouldn't KVBC have been applauded for at least taking an interest in politics?
I've only been here since July 1st, so my background on that particular issue is very, very limited.
I guess my basic question is, local TV stations, for the most part, do not do that much in terms of political coverage on an ongoing basis.
I think that's an interesting ethical issue, and I know the Poynter Institute for Media Studies, in a think tank in Florida, was engaged in that. In fact, I read most of my material before it came, based on the Poynter Institute scholars, and they talked about the balance, the ethical balance. It's very important for political leaders to have access to get their messages across on the media. On the other hand, it's very important that political leaders are not controlling that news.
No, true, but I mean, wouldn't you like to see more political coverage from local television stations?
Absolutely, absolutely, but I think that's hardcore reporting. I think that's the job of the reporters, to go find the news, investigate it, report it, and do it in a fair and equitable way. I don't think they should become lazy and expect politicians to give them the news or tell them the news. They're not doing their job then. Politicians are sources, very important sources.
You know, Sam, I got to disagree. I felt that the Sagaski thing it looked like she was getting paid off to because she was the vice chair of the Education Committee. I know that we disagree on that. We'll talk about it later, but right now we've got to wrap this up. We'll be right back after these messages with our pundit panel today.
This satellite interview is sponsored by Scott Craigie and Alris Consulting.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, safe ride home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe boating campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Hey, welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. On our pundit panel today, we have Ty Cobb, former special counsel to President Reagan. We have Marlene Lockard of Capital Strategies. And we have Alfredo Alonso, Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins, one of the top firms in Nevada.
Well, thank you.
Welcome to you all. Marlene, let me start out with you. There's been a lot of debate and letters to the editor in the Reno Gazette-Journal about the role of the First Lady. Dima Gwynn, our current First Lady, came out and said that she thought that if Dawn Gibbons became our First Lady, if Jim is elected governor, that she should take it as a full-time role, and she didn't think that she could do both jobs as Congresswoman and First Lady if elected Congress. Now, if Dina Titus, who you support, is elected governor, will her husband Tom become the first man, or how would the duties of the First Lady be dealt with?
Well, absolutely, he will become first man, first gentleman, and
is that what it is, first gentleman?
I know him by Tom Wright, and Tom is an absolutely incredible individual that has so much to offer this state and background, and his years of history in the state and rural Nevada. I think it will be very fascinating to see a totally different role and aspect that he brings to that role that's traditional within our state.
Now, do you think that Tom will continue the work with the mammovan that Mrs. Gwynn has begun, giving free mammograms to the poor and the uninsured in rural Nevada?
Well, as you know, Ray, he is a history professor specializing in Latin American history, and I think that he will probably have some initiatives that are fit in with his knowledge and his background and help and assist Nevadans throughout the state.
Okay, let's change the subject. Ty, I want to ask you, the latest nomination for the Supreme Court, Harriet Miers, she seems to have opposition and support on both sides of the aisle. How does this figure?
Interesting, Ray. I just came back from Washington. I guess I would call it the Harry and Harriet story. Number one, the role of Senator Harry Reid in the selection of Harriet Miers to be the replacement for Sandra Day O'Connor. Apparently he was the first to suggest that to the president over private lunch. Secondly, though, while the president may have calculated that this will make an easier confirmation process because the liberals and Democrats would be on board, this has really raised a conservative ire. Columnists such as Cal Thomas, George Will, and Bill Buckley and others are quite upset that this historic chance to appoint a real conservative to the Supreme Court seems to have been wasted in their mind.
Okay, Alfredo, how is this going to play out?
Oh, well, I think he's absolutely right. What you've got is the conservatives
the last people that I think that anyone expected to be upset about this particular appointment are the most upset. And again, I don't necessarily believe that they have a reason to be yet. We don't really know that much about her. She's never been a judge. Again, I don't have a problem with that, but I think what you have is a lack of a record. And because of that, you've got a lot of folks on both sides of the aisle that are a little concerned as to where her ideals really lie. And that stands to be seen, and I think obviously those hearings are going to be very important.
Marlene, it seems like the confirmation hearings for Harriet are going to be much, much tougher than they were for the Mr. Roberts.
Well, they probably will be, and they should be. You know, I'm pleased that a woman was nominated for the position, but I'm as concerned as a woman as everyone else at the table because of the lack of record and the total blank slate that she presents. So I think that the Senate is really going to have to do their job and question very carefully, does she have the qualifications, and where will she be on some of the signature issues that are so important to women in this country, and will this appointment take us back in years?
Well, I think what's going to be interesting is that during the confirmation process, you're probably going to see the Democrats and the liberals being very easy on Harriet Miers, because they're probably breathing a sigh of relief. My God, we could have got Phyllis Owens, we could have got Janice Brown, Alberto Gonzalez, somebody who's a little bit more distasteful to them, while the conservatives will probably be questioned there, as Marlene said, very, very strongly.
Okay, real quickly, the latest Fox News poll shows that for the 2008 presidential election, the top Republican, as it is now, is former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and the top Democrat is former First Lady Hillary Clinton. If we could go around real quick and get your opinions on these early front-runners.
Well,
Alfredo?
I'm not surprised at Giuliani. I think Giuliani and McCain are going to be two of the people you hear about most on the Republican side. And I think the Democrats are going to have the same problem they had last election, and that is, how do you get someone who can win a primary and also win a general, which I don't believe that Hillary Clinton can. I think you're going to need an Evan Bayh type of candidate who can be a more of a middle of the road that can bring some of those Republicans in to vote for him.
Okay, you know, we got to drop it right there. I'm sorry it didn't get to you two, but we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Thanks for watching. Next week, we're going to talk about the possible South Reno casino.